and welcome to Wrestling. And this week we are talking about wrestling and Elimination Chamber. And I know a lot of you guys watched the show. You also had Battle in the Valley this weekend. But some great stuff from WWE this weekend on a nice Saturday show. Joining me is the legend himself, In-Ring Art, Justin. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing all right. Recovering from COVID that I finally got this week after about 3 years of it being a thing. I guess I had a good run without it. Tested negative yesterday.
You had a good run, kid.
Yeah.
You had a good run, kid.
Tested negative.
Sometimes you have to do the job.
About 5. I had it for 5 days, I guess, but I still am not 100%. And it wasn't that awful of a case. It's just something that I feel like it's going to take me a while to get all the way back to normal.
If you did the job to COVID, does that mean that you're dead?
I would imagine.
This is just something for the audience to think about here. Yeah. So we were talking, I mentioned us talking Elimination Chamber, which you caught this weekend, right?
Yes, I did. I caught it a little bit last night and a rest today. Awesome.
I also saw the show. And before we get into the show, we were kind of having a backstage conversation about AEW and WWE and like the competition going on between them. Now, this is like something that I have not really wanted to often get into on the podcast because you hear enough of it on Twitter, But I think Justin and I, we try to be objective, right? We try to
always, yeah.
We have our biases just like anyone,
yes.
But We've been there to see the starting of AEW. We were rooting for it, all that good stuff. But there's been a big shift in the last... I mean, it's been going now for almost like 6 months, maybe. But, really since McMahon left the company. And we've seen this huge shift. And we both have kind of our opinions on the quality of the product right now. So why don't you tell me kind of what you think when you talk about, like, the comparison of WWE to AEW.
Well, first of all, John, I have a journalism degree, so I have to be biased. I have to be objective and see things down the middle. So
see, although we would never call ourselves journalists, but that's good. So he knows the process. All the editorial process.
I know how to get both sides of a story and how to you have to find out both sides, even if you have a bias.
You heard it here.
You
heard it here first.
Well, anyway,
Justin is a journalist.
Of course, we were just kind of saying like AEW's been around for 3 years now, and with the type of wrestling that we like, as we all know, that if you've listened to more than one episode, is we love the New Japan product, which is really hot right now, and we will still say I think it's the best thing going right now, and that hasn't been the case for the last 3 years consistently.
Well, it's heating up. I wouldn't call it... Well, I guess they
right
just
now,
had...
I think it's better than both
Mercedes.
And...
I'm almost always just the way that Japanese wrestling is, I'm
presented.
Always going to have kind of a bias for that. Like, less of the promos yelling at each other and stuff like that.
It's heating up, but when we're just specifically talking about AEW and WWE, I would venture to say that AEW's in a little bit of trouble right now. Is it permanent, or are they going and burning to the ground? I wouldn't say that at all. But
it's always a possibility, dude. Never say never.
Right.
Bigger things have failed.
Absolutely. But I think AEW's in a little bit of a problem because I think for the first time in the 3 years that AEW's been around, that WWE is clearly putting together a better product right now. And in my opinion, that's almost probably the first time in 3 years, where you can say, you know what, WWE is better right now. Where I'd rather watch what's going on. Where I got really fired up for a WWE pay-per-view to watch Elimination Chamber, and I haven't really had that feeling for our AEW for a while. To be fair, when's the last pay-per-view they even had? Their big shows are so few and far between, and they don't really have something to time out with everything. WWE's had about 2 or 3 big shows since they've had their last pay-per-view.
Well,
right?
they do have different models as far as that goes, but to credit what you're saying, AEW or WWE has like made a lot of these big shows like really destination shows that you have to watch. I mean, and it's all, I think, like Clash of the Castle, you remember, like that one really kicked it off, where it's like, okay, like almost all of the pay-per-views are becoming like must watch, where before, dude, how many pay-per-views went by where we made jokes about them, like, oh, did you watch this one? And you're like, you know, when you look back, look at shows like Stomping Grounds.
Yeah. Oh, they were awful. But it could also just be the time of year. Like, this is when WWE should be putting out their best product between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So, but I don't remember last year saying to myself at this time, wow, WWE is really doing some great things right now, because they weren't.
I don't remember saying that since NXT started. You know?
Right. So that's another thing, too. It could just be that WWE's just really picked up, and maybe AEW. But at the same time, I saw you tweet it, and I totally agreed with you. I love MJF. I love every promo he does. He's fantastic. But the whole booking of him is getting a little stale, where it's like, okay, if you want to fight me, you have to do the 5-level video game boss thing. Mm-hmm. And he's doing that for every opponent, and it's just getting a little stale, and, you know. And
there's more, and you know this too, it's like, and credit to the Reddit post, because the Reddit post that I read, which I was surprised to see, it said something like, AEW storytelling is horrible right now, or something, and I was like, huh?
You know what it makes me think? Is it makes me think...
Well, gotta let me give the guy credit real quick.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, he wrote like a 2-page thing going into detail, and I actually read it. It had 6,000 upvotes, and I was like, actually, this guy's kind of right. You know, he brought up Jade Cargill. What a weird, awkward position she's been in. You know, he brought up the MJF, one of the best performers in the world, and how he's getting, you know, put in the same storyline every fucking couple months.
You know, it's funny, but their women's division has never really been greatly booked the whole time, to be honest with you. The women's division in WWE has been way better booked, usually, than AEW's. And
yeah, especially lately, with the whole, like, Soraya and all the weird...
Tell me what you think of this. Do you think that they're really starting to hurt from... I'm not necessarily saying... Okay, I'll just flat out say it and tell me if this makes sense. Them missing CM Punk right now hurts because Tony Khan might have had him plugged in for a bunch of stuff at this point, and not having him has kind of made them have to scramble and get creative with other things, and that's kind of struggle.
There's no doubt that the absence of CM Punk is a huge hole. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt. Do I know if they had it? Well, I mean, he is a long-term booker, right? So he's probably had plans. Yeah, he probably had, like, okay, how long is he going to... He might have been champion right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. But he was without the Elite and CM Punk for a good amount of time, and their product wasn't that bad during that stretch.
Jon Moxley held it down, for sure.
Yeah, Moxley's on his little well-deserved hiatus right now, am I right? Or is he still there every week?
I think he wrestled in fucking, like... He's doing indies lately or something like that. Okay. I don't think he takes breaks, dude.
Yeah.
It's like he has a month off and then he goes and wrestles indies.
But I've seen Tony show some signs of being a little agitated, especially when he was going off on Ariel Helwani the other day. On a
yeah, that was interesting.
So I see things with Tony where he does... I mean, I think he's a great dude and all that stuff, but Tony Khan seems a little bit easily... I wouldn't say unhinged, but he seems a little... easily distracted sometimes.
Well,
with things.
Look, I'll tell you this, man. I was listening to Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer today, and he was saying, it is a wrestling war, dude, and like WWE kind of tries to pretend there isn't one, but then they do snarky shit. Where like with the Ariel Helwani, did you see how they announced him at WWE
Michael Cole said the unbiased or something like that, right?
Who will ask you the hard questions even if you don't want to answer them. So, I mean, they're just making fun of Tony Khan. And, backstage, there's a lot of real hatred and shit, bro. Like, people actually don't like each other, which is what I've heard. Like, they if you put your whole life into WWE, dude, you'd be offended by AEW, I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but you got your Bruce Pritchards and those type of dudes who think it's just a fucking joke.
Yeah, I think there's a
So,
lot of it is they're offended by the idea that someone can just come along and think that they can just come at it, you know what I mean? Like,
and take talent
Yeah.
and just and you know what is he? He's a fucking money mark, right? He's a money mark, dude. And they'll always say how many money marks have tried to start their own promotion and never gotten traction, you know? But AEW did get traction, but yeah, it's become it is kind of weird. Like a lot of the storylines have become just kind of awkward, where you'll ask yourself like, wait, what happened, or how what's going on here? I mean, the JAS stuff, like with Ricky Starks, like, dude, that's been like so weird. Like every week it's like, wait, didn't Ricky beat Chris Jericho? And now, you know, and what's going on with Danny Garcia, where he was supposed to, you know, leave the JAS and then he went back in and then he kind of lost his momentum there. The same thing with Wheeler Yuta, right? Blackpool Combat Club is a combat club named after a dude that's in WWE, and it's like, you know, Wheeler Yuta was supposed to be this like big person learning under them, and what really has become of him? Not much, man.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that is, as we see it going on, like you thought it would deliver, but it hasn't delivered. It hasn't. These goals haven't been reached.
Yeah, it just makes, you know, that a lot of things must have come to Tony by surprise, and he hasn't. That's one tangible you have to have as a wrestling booker is if when people leave, you have to react on the fly, and it seems like he's struggled and been surprised by when Regal left. When the CM Punk and like he hasn't been able to handle that, it seems like, or he's had a hard time with it. I'm not saying that he shouldn't. It sounds like those are very difficult things to deal with, especially if you have.
It sounds like a very hard job, especially when you work 2 other jobs.
I don't want it,
but you're right. I mean, I remember WWE. They had to have Triple H win the fucking Royal Rumble one year,
right?
Because there were so many injured
everyone was hurt
that were out. I think Roman was dealing with tuberculosis at the time, and
I think he had a hernia or something.
No, not tuberculosis.
Leukemia.
Dude, he'd be dead if he had that. Leukemia.
No,
it was cancer of the blood. Is that leukemia?
Well, that was leukemia. I think that was after that. He had that during the pandemic, I thought.
Okay.
I think
maybe it was a different injury.
I think Roman had like a hernia, or he got popped for performance enhancing or something. He failed a drug test.
It was something like that.
And then Seth Rollins tore up his knee.
Yup. It was a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And they kind of made it work. It wasn't that memorable, but it also wasn't something where people were like, this fucking sucks, you know? Which, no, AEW's not there either. And let's be honest here, AEW generally still has better actual in-ring wrestling in general. But
yes,
I've said this, and I think you would agree. Wrestling in the long run really is not the main important thing. The main important thing is like storylines that are compelling, that people have to watch, you know? That's really what matters.
Especially
if it's
for
an awesome match
wrestling,
on top of that, if it's an awesome match on top, even better, like they do in New Japan. But right now, you know, who's delivering the more compelling story? And obviously the Bloodline thing is like the hottest thing in wrestling. It's like a whole fucking movement. It's this huge thing. And it's awesome. And it makes you, like, I know you and I, we were like, we have to see this Sami Zayn match, dude. We have to watch this. Where, you know, I don't feel that way that often about a lot of AEW shows. I'm not like, now if it's Takeshita, yeah, I'll watch that. But even he, like, I would have loved to see him involved in a big story or something like that. But he just keeps losing. So, I think we both are sitting on the sidelines watching, like you said. We'll see what happens, but you know, it is what it is right now. WWE is outperforming them in every metric and in opinions too.
And I have another kind of metaphor for it, and I know it's like it's a different thing.
And you had something about the video game I wanted to hear too.
So here's something to think about, and it's kind of a metaphor for the problem with AEW right now.
I'm getting up, but I can still hear you, so go ahead.
And don't get me wrong, I have not played a WWE video game since 2K such and such because it was so terrible. And I haven't really been, other than playing some Fire Pro, which is a great game, but those WWE games have been bad to me since 2002 or whatever. No Mercy if you want to go back far enough, but
no, those were good.
But those games got so bad that they had to take a whole year off, right?
Well, no, what happened was Ukes actually... Okay, they might have taken a year off, but what happened is Ukes, the company that's making the AEW game, they got tired of making WWE games. So they quit, and they were like, we're done with WWE games. And what happened was Visual Concepts had to come in and put the fucking game together on the fly. And the games were already well known for being glitch fests. And that version that Visual Concepts came out with was so bad.
What, the 2019 game or 2020?
I think around then. 29. It's right around then, but it was so bad. Like, the faces didn't even look like the wrestlers, dude. They looked like freakish and disfigured. And
well,
stuff.
Anyway, here's the thing: is around the time that WWE is announcing or whatever that they were skipping a year, which was 21. AEW and now I don't know the timeline for sure. Okay, so bear with me, but it makes kind of sense when you put it this way, but AEW announced that they were going to come out with this game, and it was going to be like the old school wrestling games we all loved, and it was, getting right at, the hearts.
Mini games.
Yeah, right? And it's going to have the old No Mercy style, and it's going to use a lot of old things that everyone loves.
The Aki engine.
The Aki engine, and we were like really excited. And here we are in 2023, and we're still waiting for that game. And that was at a point where WWE's video game reputation was at an all-time low. And not only did they skip a year, but they've actually come out with 2 games since, and we're still waiting for that AEW game, which was supposed to come out last year, I believe.
I will say this, as a big video game guy, I'm guessing I know a little bit more on the gaming side of things. I say this, dude. Making a WWE game when you were with Visual Concepts or Aki back then, or Ukes back then, I mean, they already had most of the assets, to put the game together year after year. But you got to understand, I mean, AEW, to their giving them some sympathy here, they are making a game from scratch, which is a colossal, a colossal
They are
achievement.
making a game from scratch, is what you're saying.
So, yeah, they're making a game from scratch, and so, what takes a lot of fucking time is just getting the models for the wrestlers,
Oh, no, listen.
To have them scanned
I'm not saying any of that stuff isn't taking place, but I'm just saying it's a metaphor. Like, we talked about those factors. Tony losing CM Punk, losing William Regal, not having the Elite for so long.
Lost Andrade pretty much, too.
Right. Those are all things that you can't really control, mostly.
Yeah.
But there's still factors that when I look at it, I said, you announced a game 4 years ago that hasn't come out yet, or whatever it is. And the predecessor who was going to delay a game when you announced it has come out with 2 games since, and is coming out with another one right before, they've come out with 2 games since you've been able to come out with 1. And I don't care. I know that you're saying I understand those factors, but that's not good if you're competing with someone.
It is a bad look. The game itself has had a rocky kind of history. I mean, we've already seen that it like no one knows when it was going to come out. We kept talking about it. I think a while ago I was like, no, I think it's coming out next week.
Yeah.
Or something. Well, and we were like, no.
Yeah, hasn't been updates. I know that was supposed to come out in November, and then it was supposed to come out in February, and now it's just.
And then like you hear things. Oh, it's like, bro, it's not a Visa issue. We're not talking a wrestler. They're like, no, it's a Visa issue. Man. It scares me a little bit because games that go into development hell this way, there's a reason they're in development hell, bro, and it's often because they're not good.
And it's not because CM Punk's on the cover. That's a quick Photoshop job. Yeah,
you delete all his assets.
Or if you don't want him in the game, you just take him out of the game. Like, I don't know why they would take him out of the game. They can
data miners are gonna find the CM Punk assets deep in the code.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's just it doesn't matter, but. Now it says... No,
I get you. As a metaphor, yes, it looks bad.
It looks bad, and I've heard that those games have improved. I haven't played the new ones yet. Have you played the 22 or 23? Well, obviously you haven't played 23. It's not out yet.
Fuck no, dude. I
it?
haven't played a WWE game since 2012.
Okay. So I haven't played them, but I have seen.
I heard they got better.
I've heard that this one is pretty drastically improved from their last effort. So that so they are. So they're coming. They've come out with. They've somewhat very improved on their terrible game. Times 2 almost now that they're going to come out with since you guys announced yours, and have kind of gone on. So they haven't been able. And right now it's a bad time because WWE is already in a. And that's another problem is AEW doesn't really have like a signature time of year or a pattern where people know.
That's a big problem. I think All Out has become that, but it's not marketed as that, right?
Is it Labor Day weekend? Is that what it is?
It's either Double or Nothing or All Out would be their signature show, but the thing is you're right. They have not marketed as such, right? They haven't, it's not marketed as this is AEW's biggest night of the year, where every other fucking sport has that, dude. And we're not talking wrestling, we're talking sports.
And as cheesy as Wrestle Kingdom is as a name, it's like I can tell that's a...
I don't think that's cheesy.
But I'm just saying that's an event like I can tell All Out. These are all like poker terms, and I know that they're not really, they're just WrestleMania.
You could call it WrestlePalooza for all I give a fuck, dude. As long as you let me know that it's the biggest event of the year. It would give me and Justin more of... It would probably make us want, if we ever did travel to an AEW show, it'd be cool to know we're going to the biggest one of the year. And it's like, dude, Ring of Honor has their biggest show, Final Battle.
Right.
And it's just... it is weird. It's like, I think that Tony thought, organically we'll create our biggest show of the year. But if you're trying to make every pay-per-view a huge show, how can you do that? I agree. It's like I said, all sports have their biggest time of the year. Mm-hmm. All sports do.
Playoffs and all that.
Fucking minor league baseball has their biggest time of the year. It's like, that's an interesting observation that I totally agree with. And I don't think they have any... I haven't seen any kind of action to make it that,
Yeah, because you can't ask somebody, hey, what's your favorite AEW pay-per-view? Like,
I know. You're like, well, which one?
But it's like, we haven't, maybe AEW doesn't have enough of history, but we've done wrestling and the Royal Rumble. We could do a whole episode on the Elimination Chamber. We can do a whole episode on Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and if we did like a whole thing on Double or Nothing, it'd be like, well, all we're doing is reviewing random pay-per-views,
Yeah, it doesn't. Maybe there's just not enough of a collection or pattern of that yet.
There's probably not, and I'm sure we both hope that we can do, wrestling and All Out in 5 years, and we can talk about All In and how All In affected, all of that, and then we could talk about CM Punk But I guess you're right. It might be a new thing. The other thing I want to say too is the shine wears off eventually on anything new, right?
Yeah.
Like the shine wears off, and
the honeymoon
this is,
period.
I think, and I think there's a pivotal point here happening with WWE being so hot, where finally the hardcore fans are starting to not like AEW as much. Where hardcore fans were the people who started AEW, we were the people who pushed it. And we all wanted AEW to succeed because it was the first competitor. But now we're in this place where it's like we're used to it now,
Right.
So you're going to... I think...
And
I think they're going to get...
In all honesty, in that time period too, WWE has come out with more compelling things. They've signed guys like Joanna Bronson Reed back, and they've put guys like Johnny Gargano in on main shows, and
I think just having Akira Tozawa wrestle again is awesome to me.
That's the number one factor.
He was such a joke character. He was a joke for years.
No, now, I mean I think they've actually, like we said when it first happened, and I think it's fair enough to say I don't think Vince has really been involved much with the day-to-day product.
I don't think so.
He's been back, but
like butterfly effect. That concept, right?
Yeah.
Who thought that Vince sticking his dick in a lady like 20 years ago or whatever would result in the bloodline one day? If you think about it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is we said when it first happened, and even a few months after, this was going to take a little bit of time, and at least
Yeah,
the
it was
top of
not
the
going to be instant
card,
because it takes time to build.
and there's a lot of things you have to clean up and rebuild
Oh
with
yeah,
people like Ricochet, let's say, who got built up to being somebody a little more legitimate in recent memory, and
yeah. He's finding an actual spot on the mid card where he's not a loser.
yeah, and
Even people like Braun Strowman look really good lately, dude. Like Braun Strowman was a joke character to me for so long. Now they put him with Ricochet. He's kind of goofy, but like he's a baby face and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of get behind this. This is kind of cool, actually. A lot of these guys are. I mean, I'll say it again and again. Like Sami Zayn was like my favorite baby face from NXT ever, dude. And I never thought he would be that baby face again. Ever.
Huge.
And Triple H got that control, and obviously it's not just Triple H because this story started before that, but
yeah,
they went with it. They
let it go longer than a month or something that Vince would have gave it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and
that's how long it was supposed to last for originally. By the way,
right,
it was supposed to be a quick shot.
Other stuff like letting Asuka paint her face like the clown. Right,
Asuka's so fucking good.
Yeah, she's incredible, and.
Yeah,
there was. We'll talk about it in a second, but that whole match, she was like doing that smile the whole time.
She scares me, and I like
great.
it.
Yes.
Why don't?
Yeah,
well,
it was great.
Yes, I think we both generally agree on this. I want to tell our listeners here. We're just watching from the sidelines, and we support. I think something we've agreed on is we care kind of less about companies and more about the wrestlers themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
that's fair,
we want to see good wrestlers wrestle, and no matter what banner it's under, we'll support that.
Absolutely.
And so we're still watching both. Don't get it twisted here. We're watching whatever if there's good wrestling and it's in Mexico City, we're watching that, dude. So we're just it's interesting. Because we're really chronicling a history of this new company and this new idea and all that stuff. So, although this is our opinion now, we could be singing a different song in a month from now. So we will wait and see. Right?
Absolutely.
So, moving on from that, a couple big news here before we jump into Elimination Chamber. Jay White's done. He is done with New Japan.
That's true.
He lost a loser leaves New Japan match to Eddie Kingston. Great match, by the way. Very emotional. And he's gone. It kind of sucks for New Japan. Actually, it really sucks for them. What do you see him doing, dude? Any idea at all?
They had David Finlay come out and attack him afterwards, right?
Yeah, and he told him, like, fucking, we came up as young lions together, and you ruined this opportunity.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
It's interesting.
There's been rumors of David Finlay, who's, I think his father still works with WWE, right?
Yeah, but him and fucking Juice Robinson have both, like, worked reporters a lot and told him, like,
Right.
I think Finlay told, or Juice told,
he told
Brian Alvarez, he's like,
he
just
house
lied,
husband.
Well,
that was that. And then he came back with the Bullet Club. I think,
and he was at Battle in the Valley too as Bullet Club.
I think the way that I've heard Jay White's contract expiration and all that times out perfectly with just after WrestleMania, so it could match up well for being a Raw after WrestleMania debut.
He's got a lot of upside for a WWE guy.
Jay White,
a lot of upside,
and I think we've said it on the show before. He wrestles.
People have said it, but I don't.
WWE style.
I don't all the way agree. To me, he's a strong style wrestler, but yeah, he does roll. He did his roll out of the ring.
He does
very
the rollouts.
story-based
He's vocal during the matches. He's very emotionally. He can. I think he can go to a TV WWE style.
I think he would fit in just fine.
And his character is fantastic. He won't be able to cuss in his
No, but it's all about the intention behind your words, not always.
I think if I'm Triple H, I'm salivating over a guy like that, and you can get him.
If I'm Triple H, he's not going to NXT.
No,
he's going to WWE.
No. He's going at the top of your card, and he's going to have to be a babyface at first, and you can throw him against Roman or whoever comes out of that right away if you wanted to.
I just had another random thought though. NXT really kind of has become developmental again, hasn't it? Well, that was the NXT 2.0 thing.
Oh yeah, that was the whole intention, and the fact that I don't know who anyone is on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Like before, the big indie stars would debut in NXT, and they don't do that anymore. Anyways, just a side thought. But Jay White, I could see him in WWE. AEW has too many guys, and they really have already having issues with those guys they have. So I don't think it would work there. But if it did, he would be able to wrestle New Japan guys again. So that's a big one on the side too.
Well, and you can put him with AJ Styles and Gallows and Anderson. You can throw him with Jonah as two guys from New Zealand, or you can just throw him out there by himself.
Yeah,
there's a lot
as far
as
WWE.
Yeah.
A lot of options in AEW. He's already kind of has a connection to the elite a little bit.
Yeah,
but they are kind of baby faces right now.
I can see him in AEW. Well, wherever he goes, he's going to be a baby face at first because people are going to be super thrilled to see him.
I don't think so, bro. I think he's going to kick someone in the balls immediately.
Right, no, but when he first comes out, there's going to be that reaction.
We will cheer him, and then he'll be like, thank you, everyone, and then he'll kick someone in the balls, and we'll boo him.
Well, that feels like more of a WWE thing, but...
Well, dude, this is the other thing that makes me kind of sad is all the wrestling fans online for years are like, just wait till his babyface run comes, bro. Just wait till his babyface run comes. It's going to be the best ever. Never got that. And it was hinted at quite a bit.
That's a whole other story. Maybe they were supposed to do it, or when they this next contract.
And then he quit.
Yeah. So, we'll see. But, I mean, he had a really choppy year with the title. And this last year was very choppy. I know a lot of that was probably personal reasons with his visa and all that. But even once he got it, he was rarely in the country. And it seemed like, he was...
That's true.
I can see him going... The argument to me is, if he goes to AEW, that's going to be probably the best for his schedule. And... if he likes to be at home a lot.
That's another thing, too, because he might not want to go on fucking tour all week.
Exactly.
Every week.
To me...
And he'll probably get paid comparably.
For the work, absolutely. He'll probably get more in WWE, but he'll work less days, and, it'll even out. But
hey, Mike Tyson says that AEW pays more.
Oh, really? Well, maybe for what they offered him. But
Did you hear what Mike Tyson just said, bro?
No.
He said this publicly. He's like, AEW pays me more, but I'd rather do WWE any day.
But he hasn't been to WWE, hasn't paid him to do anything since what, 1998 or?
I know, but that's what he just said because he's like, I love Vince McMahon.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm sure you do.
Well, anyways, the bottom line is, I can see him going to AEW for the calendar and the familiarity of everyone, and there's always that open door for him to go back. Familiarity for him to go back to New Japan. He could go back right away if he's just representing AEW, right?
Technically he's not allowed in Japan.
Yeah, well, there's always ways around that.
he must have really not liked Japan to do a loser leaves Japan match, bro.
He can totally just get that all back with one match, you know what I mean?
Loser or winner re-enters Japan.
Yeah, beat Tomohiro Ishii and you're allowed back in Japan match.
That was in my head too, but I don't want Ishii banned from Japan, dude. That would suck.
No. He wouldn't. He no. The only thing is he has to beat Ishii to get back into Japan. Doesn't mean that. Ishii
so it'd be some ridiculous.
It would be an MJF level of beast to let you get back in. Well, anyway. There's always ways to go through
5 whippings, then you can finally. Okay, I got you. But
there's always ways back in.
Jay White, or you could just lie and pretend it never happened. Jay White is leaving New Japan, so we wish you goodbye from New Japan, Jay White.
Wish you good luck, or not wish you goodbye necessarily.
Don't they say luckers for losers? Who says that?
But people.
Yeah, Jay White heading out. So we'll see where he goes, and we'll talk about it when he shows up, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We probably won't see him for months. He's going to take a nice little break, I'm sure.
Until at least the soonest I can say we see him is the Raw after WrestleMania.
There you go.
Or at WrestleMania, doing something crazy.
Crypto.com center, yeah. Another nice little news here. Yuji Nagata just won the Triple Crown Championship, All Japan's top championship. He just won their top championship at 54 years old.
I saw him holding up some kind of title on social media. Didn't he recently just win Noah's title too? GHC?
No.
Or was that someone else? Oh, that was
Satoshi Kojima.
Kojima. Okay,
but yeah, right. Dude, and supposedly the match was fucking incredible. I heard some people saying it was the second best match of the year. So I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Nagata can still go, dude. Nagata can still go if you.
Well, and he's going against Kento Miyahara, who's like just always good.
Right, and him
has
and
the
Kojima,
best headbutts in wrestling.
Him and Kojima can still go if they have to.
Fuck yeah, dude. They never really slowed down. They just got booked to where they seemed like they slowed down, but no, they can still go.
And I don't think they don't run it. They keep themselves a little fresher than guys like. Well, yeah, it's just weird because you see a guy like Tenzan and Honma. Honma's looked better lately, to be honest. But who else is Tenzan and who's
Tenzan looked bad. Manobu Nakanishi looked pretty bad in the end there.
Right.
And so did even Iizuka, like, was walking weird. And I was like, oh, his gimmick is this. I'm like, nah, dude, he's straight up limping, dude. That's not just his gimmick, dude.
Kojima and Nagata have always looked just like they've always seemed like they're not falling apart at the seams. And even Kojima when Juice Robinson got hurt, he had some pretty good matches against Will Ospreay a couple years ago, right? Or he had to replace him.
I mean, Kojima just always can go. Except I will say this quick memory refresher. Do you remember when he fought Desperado and he wasn't allowed to use the lariat, and he got so pissed he just lariated his ass, right? And then the match was over. You remember that at all? It was a KOPW match.
Oh, was it?
No? Okay.
I don't remember.
It's fine. It was no lariats allowed, and he fucking got so pissed he just fucking slammed him.
I love it.
And lost the match. So, I love that. So, yeah, Yuji Nagata, shout-outs. If I can find the match, Justin, I will...
Send it my way.
All of you can go watch AJPW TV. Okay. Next, quick... Let me see what we got on time here. Okay, we're doing good. Elimination Chamber. You just heard us talk about it, everyone, and we're going to talk about it a little more. I saw most of it. I was talking on the phone on a few of the matches, so you're going to have to fill us in on that. It was at Montreal at the Bell Center. You ever been to the Bell Center?
Never even been to Canada, so...
No. I've been to Canada. You tell me I've been there and you haven't?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying, I guess. Well, I'm just saying I haven't been there.
Okay. Do you know when the first Elimination Chamber was?
2002? That Survivor Series?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah.
That's right, 2002. Okay, now I am trying to actually find the Elimination Chamber matches, and I can't find them.
God damn it! For this one,
what was the first match? The first match was the Women's Elimination Chamber, right? So
yes.
We'll start with that. Yeah, I thought it was pretty damn good.
I thought it was great. A lot of good spots. Even my wife was entertained.
The women have really been killing it, bro. Like, in between the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber, like, even Carmella looked pretty good. Liv Morgan looked good.
They have a very, like, I don't know if the best word is diverse roster of styles and looks in the women's division right now, and it's probably the strongest it's been in years.
Yeah, you got Piper Niven with her getting. By the way, this was funny to me. Do you remember Piper Niven? She came at the Royal Rumble, right? Did you hear the announcers? They were like, "Wow, I do drop in sometime." Or they were like, "You know what I'm talking about?"
I don't remember that, but I know what
they kept saying, making fun of Dewdrop.
Yeah,
but yeah. But Dewdrop was not in this match. It was Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki Cross.
Yep.
Nikki Cross putting in the work too. Natalia putting in the work.
Right.
Nikki Cross was good too, but I meant to say Natalia. Yeah. Liv Morgan, Carmella.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Asuka. I thought everyone looked pretty good in this match. Raquel Rodriguez, she's kind of growing on me a little bit.
Yeah, she's good. I mean, she's huge, and she's got she's the monster kind of, and
she's interesting though because she's this big woman. But, she actually has, I don't know how to say it. Her face is very feminine and kind of, she doesn't look beastly or anything.
She's 6'2".
She has a very
no, she doesn't.
Look.
I don't think unless someone, she's just really tall and big, not big, but you know what I'm saying. She's,
basketball player.
Yeah.
Women basketball player size.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Asuka ended up winning this one. Asuka really just fucked everyone up, dude.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
She was kicking the shit. So she's changed her moveset now, I believe. Now that she's Clown Asuka. What do we call her? Is it Clown Asuka or is it Kana? What she has a name for that or what?
I don't think they've really been saying other than she's got a little bit of a new look.
Well, in the history of wrestling clowns, we have Doink. We have Psycho Clown, and now we have Asuka, right?
And Pogo the Clown, if you go back to the XPW.
Ooh, I don't know Pogo the Clown.
Yeah, he's pretty
We might have to do an episode on Pogo the Clown.
Well,
also the Insane Clown Posse, JCW, Juggalo Wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And they were in WCW.
Well, Pogo the Clown was John Wayne Gacy used that as his...
Oh,
that was
no!
his clown name. So if you just do a Google image search of Pogo the Clown XPW, and you should see what I'm talking about. He was kind of a big deathmatch guy. And
Pogo the Clown
XPW.
Dude, when I looked that up, it just and XPW.
Yeah.
Dude, I just opened a whole fucking rabbit hole of clown wrestlers. Pogo the Clown does a public service and beats up Pogo the Clown. Oh wow, that's him?
Yeah,
he's like an old dude. Bro, he's a bald dude.
Yeah.
He looks old. But this video is from 2022.
Oh, wow. Well, he's doing he was doing death matches back in the day in XPW and crazy stuff with Sandman or whoever it was, I don't know.
Wow.
Anyways, there's a little bit of clown wrestler history for you.
Yeah. Well, this clown wrestler kicked ass. She won. Asuka won. And it made me pose the question, when did Asuka become a future Hall of Famer? And it's just everything came so fast, and she just keeps stacking championships and she's won everything, dude. She's won the Money in the Bank. She's won the Royal Rumble. She's won the Elimination Chamber. Every single women's title there is. Yeah. It's dude, she's a modern day legend to me.
She
really
reminds you of Ichiro, right? He came to the United States middle of his career, and he put up all these amazing numbers that guys that have played 2 times as long can't even come close to, right?
Yeah. Just something like Suzuki. I think I read his book, actually. Read a book by him in jail. But good stuff here. And it only got better as far as Elimination Chamber matches go. Lashley versus Lesnar. We already knew that was going to be a short match, right? I mean...
Yeah, it was kind of a...
That's just how Lesnar matches are.
I mean, they're obviously going to wrestle again at WrestleMania, right? With some crazy stipulation.
Well, no, I don't think they are, dude. I think that Bray Wyatt's going to go against Bobby Lashley. But why would they have him kick him in the dick? I don't...
Well, Bobby's got to get his clean win, I guess.
Meltzer said today, and I agree with this, adding Bray Wyatt to the Lashley versus Lesnar match makes the match worse. Like,
probably, yeah. I mean,
it just doesn't really make sense.
I mean, what are they going to have? They had a Mountain Dew match against Eli Drake. What's it going to be? Like a Corn Nuts, like, last
was that the Royal Rumble? Dude, how wasn't the Royal Rumble like 3 weeks ago? Was it, or was it this quick?
It was, yeah.
Jesus, dude. And next is WrestleMania, so we have a long break now till WrestleMania. There's no fast lane or roadblock or detour.
Not yet.
Okay, good.
There could be there could be a pothole.
There could be a fucking roundabout
rest stop
pay-per-view. Yeah, full stop. Brock Lesnar got kicked. No, Brock Lesnar kicked Bobby Lashley in the balls. Did the cheap shot, and Bobby Lashley won by disqualification. Under 5-minute match. Exactly what you expect. Finisher, spear, barricade. You know.
Yeah, it was a quick little fun
match. Lesnar, Lashley, and Goldberg, they all have, like, when they wrestle each other, they all have the same match.
We have the template, yeah.
And it works. Edge, Beth Phoenix against Judgment Day. Judgment Day, another great act that has really picked up since
it's come around a little bit. Even Dom Mysterio's been better.
Dom, dude, I love Dom. I love that he has, as someone who has been to prison, I love the idea that he went to jail for a night and has become a hardened criminal. That is just so ridiculous that it's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
He's like, man, you don't know SA, you don't know what we do in there. It's like, dude, you weren't even in there, you fucking pussy. Anyways, and he doesn't even wrestle that much. Like, he could just... Did you see when he got the glam slam? Dominic did, and he goes, "Mommy!"
Yeah, I did. That was great.
Great. This match was really good, actually. I missed, like, kind of half of it, but Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley beat each other up pretty good, man.
Yeah. And, Edge has looked pretty good, man. I know he's had some...
Edge looked good. He did a dive, bro.
Yeah, Edge has looked pretty... I mean, for his return, I know some people have criticized it, but I thought he's looked pretty good the whole time.
COVID had a lot to do with that, too, though, dude. He had one of the worst WWE matches I've ever seen.
Yeah, that
Randy
was...
Orton.
Right, but I don't think it was because he looked bad. I just thought it was a badly put together
boring
match.
Yeah. But he also had the greatest match ever, and that was like, it was good, but remember that, the greatest match of all time.
Such a Vince McMahon thing.
It's like the greatest wrestling match of all time. How do you know? It's not done yet.
It's such a Vince McMahon thing.
Now, this might have been my match of the show. I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I do have some slight criticisms of the main event. But I think the men's Elimination Chamber match fucking killed it, dude.
It was great. It was really good.
They gave a lot to a lot of people. They gave Bronson Reed a lot, dude.
They did, but then he got eliminated first. I was hoping to see his splash. I didn't get to see his splash. I was a little bummed out about
a splash from the top rope of the pod.
His finish. Oh, that would have been cool too. Yeah. I don't think he can even get up to the top of the thing. I don't think there's enough room for him up there.
That's not physically possible.
I think he could jump off it, but I don't think he could get up there. Well, I don't think there's enough room for a big dude like that up there. I don't think he's super tall, but I don't think...
Bronson Reed is great in these train wreck type matches, dude. He was always... when he did the ladder match for the North American title, he was great in that.
Yeah.
He can really do it all, dude. He can do the slow Japanese style matches. He can do the fast-paced style matches. So, shout out to Bronson Reed. Really looking great. We wish you were in New Japan still, but...
We do. And I understand. But I see him now, and he has, it's just a lot more confidence. And I think he's feeling it. And I think once you get, a babyface champion, like Cody, I can see somebody... like Bronson being the first opponent for him, or being an opponent for that babyface champion at some point. Or you can do it the other way around.
If you can build him up so the audience hates him a little more, That's a great idea.
Or you can babyface him if you want to have Roman come out of this clean, and you can have Roman lose to him at SummerSlam as the babyface. I don't know.
Hey, who was the guy that was with Gargano? The bald dude. What's his name again? DIY.
Ciampa.
Yeah. What happened to him?
Isn't he injured again?
He's pretty injury prone.
He has been, yeah, and I love him. He's awesome.
He just disappeared. But there were some great spots in this match. I thought Montez Ford looked really great too, as did Gargano. I mean, they all did. Rollins is finally building on me after years of not liking him. I'm starting to actually. His wrestling
I've
is
always been a Rollins. Rollins'
you always have, but
haven't been consistently good, and.
They have changed constantly. He's
his
constantly
best,
changing.
as we've said, his best incarnation, even to this day. I love the bright drip suits and all that stuff. That's been fun. I love him coming out with those Astro Boy boots, as I did in one of my drawings recently.
That was ridiculous.
Right, but I think I said it in the
$1,000.
post. I said, well, they're not that much. They're like $300, but I said it was obnoxiously entertaining.
I can agree with that. It was obnoxiously entertaining.
And that's
I know you think the whiny prick,
chicken shit heel with the money in the bank. Yeah. And when he
can't really. It's like he almost can't do that character anymore.
The J&J security, anymore. Right? Well, I'm not saying he can or he can't, but the J&J security era
was great.
Fantastic. That was his best iteration. Was that winning that, cashing in, and all that stuff. Yeah, and it's been tough for him to kind of find an identity since then, because he tries to be a babyface, but he's got just like this tingly
it's weird,
annoyingness to his voice, right? Like he talks, he's got like that. I don't know if it's like, I know he's from the Midwest, from Iowa, but he's just has this kind of high, gravelly voice. That's
he has. He's kind of got something like this. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of weird sounding, but they can keep him as this babyface character, I think, and he stays babyface and doesn't do anything stupid, and they don't book him to kick someone in the balls or fucking punch someone with I think it could be really good at WrestleMania. I think him and Logan Paul could potentially tear the house down.
No, they will. No, I have no doubt in my mind they will. That's gonna be the third, that's gonna be the signature match of the event, I bet, in terms of in ring.
That could be great. It's crazy that we're saying that about Logan Paul, dude. As much as I hate the dude.
Yeah, me too. As much as I don't like him.
He's this kind of a scammer and shit, but it rests. Now, here's my question, though. I just think of this today because I was thinking of AEW, WWE, and how they there's a lot of backstage people that talk shit. Well, do you think they taught him the buckshot lariat on purpose, to be dicks?
No, I just think he knows how to do it because he's a really good athlete. And
here's the thing. Someone had to give him a finisher. Someone had to be like, you know what, do this for your finisher, or collaborate with them on it.
Wouldn't you just do the one-wing angel or something like that, or something a little more prominently obvious? I feel
like that'd be straight up gimmick infringement at that point. They at least respect the business enough not to go and do the one-wing angel, but I don't know the buckshot lariat. It's his move, So it's I don't know.
Is Adam Page the first person to use that?
Probably not. Because it's really not a move. It's a combination of two things.
But I bet you Logan Paul's wrestling move knowledge is not any further back from 2015 or something like that anyway.
Yeah, that's probably true. When he was a kid watching.
Because how old is Logan Paul?
No clue, bro. 28 or something.
That's what
probably younger.
I would say 26, but let me see.
He's 20. He was born in 95.
27.
So
He's 27.
27. Okay. Yeah. Hey, at least it's him and not his brother. His brother annoys me even more, actually.
Although, Kenzo kind of... You like Logan Paul, right, Kenzo? Because he wanted to get Prime drink the other day, right? But
Dude,
of course, my wife is
you
not a
should be-
fan of his
kid-
because
well,
of the
kids-
whole
kids
Japan
like-
thing.
Kids like him, but
Of
I
course,
mean,
my wife will never be a fan because of what he did in Japan. But
Yes, yeah, well, yeah, of course. But I mean, you know, kids don't know things what crypto scam and rug pull means, right? So,
even if they did, they'd probably think it was cool.
yeah, exactly. They'd probably ask you to buy in on it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Montez Ford. So I had the volume off for some reason, and I actually thought Montez Ford got fucked up, dude. Could you tell it was a work?
With the curve stomp to the outside of the ring, I just think he sold it right. But I think they probably
they had to open the door for Logan Paul, but I realized that afterwards. But
yeah,
I actually thought that he was like fucked up.
I think they saw it backstage and they said, you might want to go check on him.
Well, no, they had to open the door for Logan Paul. That was the whole
Right.
reason they checked on him, so Logan Paul could get in. But
okay. But
I don't know.
He was great. He was a great sell.
I thought the run-in was good, as much as I don't like run-ins. This was a good one. It sets up WrestleMania. It sets up plans.
Yeah.
Austin Theory is still the United States champion. He's probably going to beat Edge tomorrow. I believe that's the match, Austin Theory versus Edge tomorrow.
Okay.
So a nice little quick open challenge right off the bat.
Who does you think Theory end up with at WrestleMania?
Ooh. Yeah, I have no clue, bro.
Maybe
To be
Ricochet
honest, Bronson Reed
or
Ricochet
Montez Ford.
is it? Well, see, the thing with Montez Ford and Ricochet is they're kind of in tags right now. They're in tag teams.
But
I could see Johnny Gargano because they have a history.
Well, there's
In
2
Austin
days,
Theory,
so
it'd be
there's
like
no
a
reason
junior
why.
match.
There's 2 days, so there can't be any reason why Montez Ford can't tag one night and have the United States title the next night. Plus, they need to start.
I don't know,
breaking
man.
him.
You'd have to ask me who's going against. I'm less interested in who's challenging Theory than who's challenging Gunther.
Oh, right. Gunther wasn't even on the show, was he? Wow.
No, there was no Intercontinental title.
I would have loved to see him in that Elimination Chamber.
Just do Gunther versus Sheamus every WrestleMania from here on out, and I will totally be cool with that.
Let's do it.
So, what'd you think of the main event? Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. Roman Reigns wins by pinfall.
It was good. It was good. I kind of realized why they had to do it then. I still preferred...
Why they had to do what? The match?
They had to do the match in Montreal. I see the temptation there. I still would have done it this way. I think we talked about it. I would have had Sami win the Elimination Chamber. Huh? For double gold dash. Yes. I still, even after the way they presented it, you could have had those same elements to it in an Elimination Chamber match, just like you had Logan Paul interfere. And you didn't have to have Roman wrestle on this show.
The thing that kind of sucks about Sami Zayn is, if you've seen interviews with him, he seems like a pretty smart guy.
Yes.
And he seems pretty self-aware. I know he's kind of neurotic and stuff in real life, but thing about him is, in one of the recent interviews, he basically said the truth, but the truth is kind of shitty. He's like, I'm not the type of dude that is as marketable as, some other guys. And
well, no, I think it was with with Ariel Helwani. Yeah, they asked him, "Can you be the guy?" And he said, "Well, I can be a guy that can hold the title for a little bit, but I can't be someone that is like the face of the company." And basically, is what I'm paraphrasing.
It's like, I hate to say this, bro, but shave your beard, cut your hair short. You could be the face of the company. You were the face of NXT.
Well,
even with this current look, dude, Brian did it. So I don't know. He is right.
If you're going that way, just get a little better haircut, maybe. Get
a little better haircut,
a little more stylish haircut, and you can pull it off with the beard. I mean, he's got kind of the. Who was the janitor on?
Oh, jeez, the janitor
from The Simpsons. Willie.
Yeah, Willie. Yeah, yard keeper's Willie or whatever.
Yes.
Groundskeeper Willie.
Groundskeeper Willie. Yeah. But anyway, that's what. But no. I think these days you can go with the big beard, and he's got a good baby face smile, and unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
And the way the match was done, it still left a little bit of an open. You know what I would do with the matches for me? The match money is not with the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which it looks like that's what they're building towards. I would do Solo and Jimmy Uso.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking that same thought yesterday.
And
I was thinking you could do Jay and Sammy versus Jimmy and Solo.
That or you could
make it a trios.
Right. Well, it would still be a tag, or if you could get a third guy for the bloodline.
Yeah. Bring back. Oh wait, that guy's passed away.
Tama Tonga.
Dude, yeah, throw Tama Tonga in there, dude. That's sick. I love this.
That's another rumor.
Armchair booking here.
But
that's not a rumor.
But
no one's saying that.
Well, no, Tama Tonga himself is saying that Triple H is knocking on his door, right?
Of course he says that, dude.
I'm just kidding. Come on, listen.
He's a bullshitter, bro.
Yeah, he is. But in a lovely way. I love Tama. But no, I think the money is obviously we want something for Kevin Owens to do, but from a kayfabe standpoint, is there something where I just don't see right now how Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn can just make up and hug each other just yet.
I think they should have hugged yesterday.
Right, but then, he still punched him in the balls and did the finish, and he was still ready to betray him, and if in a world where Roman doesn't make him hit him with the chair, Sammy still wants to be in the bloodline.
Oh, that's the sad thing.
Right? So
that's the sad thing.
So there's
I think there's more story to tell here. Obviously there is, but yeah, this is one of those things where I'm almost just putting the faith in Triple H and saying you do what you think is going to work.
But I think if you're going to do it,
anymore.
Let's get Solo involved because I believe he deserves. I don't know if he even wrestles on Raw at all, but that guy deserves more.
He wrestles once in a while.
He needs to get more matches, and I think the Jimmy and Solo versus Jay and Sammy, that's where it's at. And I don't know what that leaves with Kevin Owens. That's why I'd love to get another guy for that team, and then you can put Kevin Owens in that situation. But I don't really know who else you put there. But that where I think the money is having Jay with Sammy.
Jay has become one of the most important pieces of the story too. So, but I feel like we're talking more about the future. I want to hear a little bit more about the match. You found it entertaining.
I found it entertaining. I guess it was somewhat predictable in terms of you knew Roman was going to win for some bullshit, right? You knew that Sammy was going to have the visual count and have the match won on occasion or two.
I didn't know that would happen, but it does make sense. It's a pretty common move.
And as much as they talk about Roman being this dominant champion, he has been beaten in almost every match that he's had.
That's what I'm saying, the visual pinfall, they give it to everyone now, dude.
And even with the handcuff thing with Kevin Owens.
Logan Paul didn't get a visual pin on him, did he?
No, I said almost. But I guess that's the deal. For being this dominant ass kicker, he has been vulnerable at times. And he's needed a lot of help from the bloodline to win matches, right?
Oh, that's true, man.
And I did love the whole, Paul Heyman interference. I loved the interactions.
That was hilarious.
The interactions with Sammy's wife.
Didn't he just point at Roman and be like, I never liked that guy. I never liked that guy.
Something like that.
And that dude will turn on anyone, bro.
The interactions that Sami Zayn, his wife, was having with Roman.
That was pretty interesting, too. Shout outs to her for getting involved in the match because obviously we didn't even know Sammy had a wife or kids or anything like that.
No, I knew he did.
You knew he did.
I know he's had it. He had a wife and kids.
I'm guessing he's been married for a while. That's gonna
Probably. I know that he's always kind of kept it like he doesn't really show them on social media or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I liked it too. I think this match was pretty damn good, dude. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I put it on my list of matches that were good. The nitpicking is that
the John
I was
Ensman
getting
list of matches that are good.
It's just called match reviews.
I know.
Dude, I used to review every single match I watched, and that got so annoying. I'm looking here. It says Tables TLC, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton versus Rhino and Heath Slater. Terrible finish with Bray scaring Rhino and then Randy delivering the RKO. Bad. Anyways. God, I can't believe they were doing Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton versus Rhino and Heath Slater.
They sure did. Some of that Heath Slater Rhino stuff was pretty entertaining, though. Like in the trailer park and stuff. The, I got kids kind of thing.
I got kids. Yeah, I like that.
That was pretty good.
The thing with this match was it started to feel real NXT-ish of like Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, where it's spamming kickouts after kickout after kickout. That was a little bit nitpicky on my part. I don't like so many kickouts per match. Now, if it's like Wrestle Kingdom finals, and this was a huge match, so
and I think they really
understand it.
It being in Montreal, they knew like we cannot have Roman drop. We can't have Roman drop the title. I don't think they knew, and as much as people wanted to see it, the whole Roman thing, like you can't let go of it just right now. He could win it back the next day. I guess you could have done that, but then
and you could have done that. They did that with Ric Flair and who did he go against?
And
Kerry
then if
Von
you want
Erich. They
had it with Kane beating Austin, and Austin won it back the next night at King of the Ring '98.
Yeah, they do that. Give the big win, but it does cheapen the win, though.
Well, and you have this 900-day thing that you can't even talk about, during WrestleMania. So Roman's thing, you might as well get it to 1,000 days now. Or you might as well get it to 3-4 years now. I mean, it's just it's like you're already in. You might as well go as far as you can with it. Is the feeling they have, and they couldn't just do it now. And they weren't expecting the Sami thing to happen 6 months ago for sure.
Yeah, the crowd definitely, though, like, I'll say this, man. That crowd was near silent at the finish, which sucked that happened.
I guess, but they had no choice. So they had to. I know you're talking about the false finishes and the NXT like feel to the stuff,
just kicking out of everything.
They had to really shine Sami up good.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. And this is biggest match in Sami's career. Is at his hometown. There's no mistake why they were in Montreal. So, I can kind of see the reason. That was just my nitpick. The other thing is, at the end, it started to get a little bit angly, where it was just like angle after angle, and it's like, I thought that the thing with Jay was a little weird, and then all of a sudden, like, KO is here, and now, wait, are they it was a lot to take in at the end.
Jay was out there selling for a long time for getting accidentally speared.
Was he? Did he go to sleep? Did he go to sleep for that one?
He just went. Yeah, he was on the sleep on the outside for all the stuff that happened when Kevin Owens came out. He was absent for a very long time.
Well, it was a chair.
I don't know if he just left.
It was a chair spear. Yeah. So, good show. We give it a thumbs up, right?
Yeah, and I was gonna say though, outside of maybe Asuka winning, was there any real did the Judgment Day won too, right? Or did they lose?
Judgment Day lost.
Okay.
Judgment Day lost. So Asuka won.
Theory won, which I don't think fans wanted. So the last two matches, let's say, there wasn't a lot of fans to go happy with stuff.
Well, yes, you're right. The only feel-good moment, honestly, there was only really one feel-good moment
was a feel-good moment, right?
I think she's a heel right now, though, technically.
Okay.
Or it's kind of impossible to boo her, but I don't know. I know she changed her moveset. She's not doing her hip attack and shit anymore. Much more striking.
So outside of maybe Edge winning, there wasn't any feel-good moments, huh?
I don't think so, dude.
You had Brock Lesnar with the balls in 5 minutes. That's not feel-good for anybody.
I will say this: Kevin Owens doing pop-up power bombs was pretty feel-good.
Okay,
but then
but
like
not in terms
it
of
ends,
result.
and it's Sammy's just in the ring, like, thanks everyone.
But even then, it's Sami Zayn still had to come save him. I mean, someone else had to come save him, but it's his hometown too.
Yeah. But for the lack of feel-good moments, still a great show.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. For the fact that there wasn't any like the feel-good moment was Sami coming out for his entrance, which I still don't like when they don't have the champion come out last.
Didn't they say that, like, they tried to make a story about that? They were like, oh, Roman gave up his right to come out.
No,
Am I
he
getting
didn't.
this mixed up?
I don't think so.
That's what they said. They said, like, oh, he gave up his right
WWE's always traditionally had the babyface entrance last on championship matches, whether they're the champion or not, or the challenger. But I think the moment is bigger if Sami comes out first and gets the ring to himself for a little bit, and then you get the facial expressions of him when Roman is coming out, and you see his focus change. And then you can still have that moment of him, 2-3 minutes of the cheers. I think it's a better moment that way. But that's
I think I agree with that.
And I think as the champion, you should come out last all the time.
You know what always scares me though is that Sami will fucking break both of his rotator cuffs while celebrating before the match. So
that's that John Cena moment, and still put together a great match.
I know, but like when you watch what happened, you're like, wow, dude just celebrated himself into an injury. Like, he threw his arms up and he still does that celebration too. I'm like, be careful, dude. Hopefully they were surgically repaired. But good show.
I would imagine.
We're kind of it's leading us towards WrestleMania weekend, and so we'll be up to date with all that stuff. Before we get out of here, I did want to ask you about Elimination Chamber. What do you know? I know you said you didn't watch it. Or excuse me, Battle in the Valley. My bad. Battle in the Valley.
I have not had the means to watch Battle in the Valley yet. Maybe it's something I'll take a look at tomorrow. Or
will it ever go on to New Japan World?
Probably not, right? Like, it's a pay-per-view. Or a month from now. Is there anything I have to, like, almost
pay extra?
Give an STD to my computer to find?
I gotcha. Is it
worth it?
Well, I heard a couple things were worth it. You had
I mean, I'll watch Tanahashi and Okada wrestle any day of the week, and I want to see Eddie Kingston and
well, you had the Eddie Kingston Jay White match. That was pretty awesome.
Match. I definitely want to see Monet and
I'll say
Kyrie.
This, Eddie Kingston looking a little bigger lately. No disrespect to him. If you're listening to this, I'm a big guy myself. But he kind of grew out his beard a little bit, looking a little bigger. Still wrestles his style, and he does that good Eddie Kingston style. But pretty emotional match. David Finlay cuts a promo on Jay White after it. He's tired of being treated as an outsider wherever he goes, and said if anyone is in a New Japan ring in any company, it better be with his permission. That's what Finlay said. Oh. So we'll see this. Finlay's had a lot of stop and starts over the years where we're so excited for him, and then he disappears.
Well, his peak was the New Japan Cup match against Jay White, where he had that bad ankle and beat him, right? Or
he did win the best of the tag league with
right, but I mean
Robinson.
You're right, but I think his individual peak would have been. I think that New Japan Cup run was better for him individually.
He's definitely had some good runs. So I always look forward to seeing Finlay stuff because I like him and I think he's a good wrestler.
And he got himself in a little better shape at one point.
Oh
too,
yeah,
and really
way better shape
his look
than
together.
when he was a young lion.
and he really pulled his look together.
Yeah, when he had his like beard and all, dude, I did not like that.
No.
I agree though. So that was that. I'm gonna have to watch more of that after we get out of here. I'm actually gonna try and go watch some of this stuff. The Tom Lawler. So I watched the Homicide versus Tom Lawler. I had a friend over and I was watching it in the background, and with the noise off, it looked awesome, dude. But the reviews were not as good. There was a lot of plunder, but it was a filthy rules match. Do you know what that means?
No.
No DQs, no ropes.
So it's like a blood sport kind of thing?
Pretty much, yep. And, but unlike Bloodsport, there was a lot more wrestling deathmatch shenanigans. Where Bloodsport's more along the lines of just like two people fighting, right?
Right. I'm not a huge fan of the no ropes concept. I don't know.
It's an interesting person that likes that stuff.
No, well, I mean, everyone, if you like it, okay, I get it. But I mean, I just personally, I like those, not borders, but I like that containment feel.
I agree, but we see no rope matches we see no rope matches so uncommonly that they are kind of a fun distraction sometimes. I thought that match looked good. I don't know much of Homicide. He seems like one of those like legends that passed me by. So I don't really know the guy at all, to be honest. Did you ever watch Homicide?
I mean, I've always known who he was, but hadn't seen much. I mean, it was probably in an era of, like I don't know if I don't want to assume, but it was like a New Jack style of guy, right?
Wasn't he doing TNA and stuff? I don't know, man. We're gonna have to do an episode about him.
I don't know how. I mean, let's look up a little bit because I bet you something's gonna click with me.
Because I kind of almost want to do an episode on him because he seems like a good wrestler who's later in his career, and a lot of people like him.
Well, he's 45,
and I used to get him mixed up. It was Homicide, and there was another one that
Low Key.
Anyway, I don't remember. It wasn't Low Key, but it was like the name was kind of like Homicide. It was a similar type.
He was in Jersey All Pro Wrestling. He was in JAPW. That's
but
Jersey
where did he get
All-Pro,
big at? Just indies? In the indies? Was he like a big indie guy?
Ring of Honor. He had a feud with Steve Corino in 2002. 2003.
That's a big deal. That was a big deal then.
He was in the Rottweilers tag team.
I think he was in the LAX too.
Rottweilers with Low Key, Ricky Reyes, and Rocky Romero.
Wow.
So he basically a Ring of Honor guy. Feud with Colt Cabana.
Okay.
Feud with Best of 5 series with Jay Lethal in 2005. And, here you go.
Oh, wow.
Best of 5 series and feud with Jay Lethal. In January 2005, Homicide began a Best of 5 series with the American Dragon. So, bet you that was good.
Yeah, that's right about that time. Okay.
So, cool. I think for the most part... Yes, and he was in LAX, 2008. So for
Ring of Honor guy though,
and then he had a TNA run. But I think you can basically tie him down to a Ring of Honor guy. From what I see.
Well, maybe you and I will find some of his famous matches and we'll watch him because I out of respect to a lot of these wrestlers, I want to know more. You know what I mean? And I know you do as well. So. We'll have to find out a little more about him because people talk about him like, oh, we've known him for years, and it's like, I don't know him.
A guy like named Homicide was never going to make his way to WWE. They'd have to change his name to like Aggravated Assault or something like that.
I was thinking of the code for the Homicide, whatever that code is. But yeah.
187?
It is. Yeah, it is misdemeanor battery with an added aggravation. Okay, Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Clark Connors. I heard this was not that great until the last few minutes, which kind of sucks to hear that because
there was only a last few minutes.
I know it was 15 minutes.
I saw. You know what I did watch, and I do recommend watching, which I kind of enjoyed, was the press conference that was on NJPW
from WWE.
World.
I haven't.
No, the
press conference for Battle in the Valley.
Battle in the Valley, yeah.
Well, the press conferences are always great. I got to watch the WWE one too. The WWE
It was literally. It seemed like it was done at the Holiday Inn, where like right next to where they serve.
Probably.
The continental breakfast was in the background or something like that. It was very
it's the same room. They just. I love that about New Japan. To be honest, dude, I like that.
Yeah. Oh,
in America, they get like the little hotel rooms and stuff.
Kenta came out and did English, and Eddie Kingston came out. Jay White was not there, but Eddie Kingston came out and gave a really great. Said, I'm not losing because I dream about being in New Japan. And he started name dropping matches. And he goes, I don't like WWE. I never liked those type of matches. I want to be a New Japan wrestler. And there's no way I'm losing this match.
I'm going to ask you not to tell me more because I'm going to go catch this right after this now. I know the fans want to hear, but...
It's like 40 minutes. And
I'm cool with that.
The girl hosting it was...
every press conference.
The girl hosting it, you've never seen her. Actually, I remember at New Japan Strong, she was one of like kind of the people there that was leading people around, and she was really nice to me.
It's not Denise Salcedo, is it?
No. Emily May. Because I remember,
so she's just a production person for.
She does interviewing, and I think she's done stuff for WWE recently. But when we went to the New Japan Strong show, she was there, like helping run the merch stand, and she was really nice to Kenzo, and like just and the other person who does ring announcing they were just really friendly to the little kid that came to the show and. Helped us get better seats and all that stuff. But, she was hosting it, so there's someone different there. But they kind of came out and did their thing, and Tanahashi and Okada did it. They had a translator, but it seemed like in a very dark room, and it was weird, but it was especially just for hearing Eddie Kingston. And also on YouTube, there is about a 25-minute video
of Mercedes. I saw that.
Tell me your reaction to that.
About half of it.
How did you feel about it?
It looked okay. I mean, it's just, she's a rich lady going to Japan. Now, she did get very emotional a few times, though. Which was nice seeing that vulnerable side of her.
I really liked it, and I sincerely, see her emotion, and I believe it, and it's a really cool moment for her. But you see these little...
You get to see Trinity. You get to see Trinity in the video, too.
And she was referring to... Pam called me, and that's Bailey.
That's Bailey.
Yeah. And the text messages from Triple H and all that. But these little hints of her, just you can tell that she's thinks very highly of herself.
Dude, I look, bro. I don't want to say too much, but I've always heard that she can... If you're listening to this, Mercedes, look, I've never met you personally.
Same here,
sure
yes,
you're a great person, and I love your wrestling, and I'm a fan. But
Yeah,
I've heard she can be difficult to work with.
Yes, and I think a lot of it is, you got to be a believer in yourself in general, especially when you go into this line of work, and you have to be able to sell yourself, and you got to stick up for yourself, and those are obviously things she believes in and has done. But yeah, I've heard the same thing, but I could see a point where maybe... she might be a little difficult to work with, and we've heard that label put on her. I mean, dude, right?
she literally gave back the titles to fucking Vince McMahon and walked out of the company straight up CM Punk style. So I mean, that's other wrestlers would.
By the way, have you seen the pictures of CM Punk? CM Punk did attend Battle at the Valley.
No way.
He was there in the crowd. You can look at it.
Wow, that is going to fuel a lot of speculation, dude. Huh. I'd be more surprised if he was at Montreal, but...
that would have been
hopefully that clears up the road a little bit. And,
hey, man, and Jericho did tweet. Someone put something about a match with him and CM Punk, and he just commented, I miss working with CM Punk.
I saw that too. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've said from the get-go.
Read too deep into it at this moment, but
Hey, we've said from the get-go, it behooves both parties for them to work something out. Whether you like CM Punk or not, who you blame, whatever, it behooves both of them to pace things together.
AEW needs him pretty bad right now, actually. We'll see what happens. I didn't know that. I'm going to try to find a picture of him. I mean, I know Meltzer was there. You know that.
Yeah, he was sitting
there,
with, I saw Giselle Shaw was with him. Another executive from Impact was there. Sign Guy Dudley. And he was with Lars Fredrickson, the guy from Rancid, Operation Ivy. Who he's buddies with, who's a huge wrestling fan. They were sitting together.
Ooh, they got the nice tickets, huh? Well, maybe. That's pretty cool, man. It's cool to see him getting out and about. Sounds like he is still a fan of wrestling, which I like to hear, because when he was done with WWE, he was saying he don't even watch it anymore,
Right.
So it seems like it's not that bad. Speaking of Mercedes, she had her match versus Kairi. I was watching it when we started talking, so I haven't finished it. A lot of people said it was the best match on the show.
Cool.
And that's competing with Okada versus Tanahashi. So it must be a fucking great match.
And I know this is kind of a side topic, and we can do this whole other thing. Do you think that this card needed an IWGP Championship match?
Did they not have one? They
not
had
initially.
One. It was Okada versus Tanahashi.
No, I know, but initially that was kind of added late to the card, like after the tickets went on sale.
We know they didn't need it because it already sold out without that announcement. So clearly,
it did.
They didn't need it. I mean,
do you feel
Mercedes was enough to sell out the building.
Do you feel like that's a little bit of an insult on that women's title?
I don't think it's so much of an insult. I think that New Japan wanted to give their fans more, and they wanted to give them a main event match. And, this other women's title is fairly new, and so no, they wanted a main event style match in America, which we don't get that often.
Hope that they have more women's matches on their cards than just the title matches.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, huh? That's a good point. How are you going to feud? So hopefully they'll do some multi-man tags and stuff.
Yeah, but I want to see some singles matches, like number one contender matches and special singles match stuff, It doesn't have to be a lot.
I agree. We don't want
every big card.
We don't want it to be
one.
Yeah. God, our latency is terrible right now.
Yeah, there was a few times you were cutting out, but hey, maybe it's just a sign. We're at an hour and 27 minutes.
I put my video off. So I'm gonna go finish watching that Mercedes match, and then you had the Okada versus Tanahashi match, which is like a fine wine. With age it gets better. I think Brian Rose or Chick Fritz wrote that on Wrestling Observer. It's like these matches are fine wine. They're always good. They are good with age. An average match from these two guys is better than most matches any other wrestler could even put on in their life.
I mean,
so
two of the best guys of the last 50 years, right? On the short list, at least, of ever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and he says, Okada says he wants to reform the Dream Tag Team and go after the tag titles. I'm sure he just said that for shits and giggles, but,
Yeah.
He is not in the New Japan Cup, though. Did you notice that?
Okada?
Yeah.
That's fine. He doesn't need to be. Because he's got to face the guy who comes out of it.
Isn't the champion usually in the Cup?
I think he has. I don't think so, to be honest.
Okay.
They've been in the G1s, but I don't think they're in New Japan Cup. Okay. I could be wrong.
Sure they've done it sometime.
I could be wrong, but it could be in that in maybe the last couple years where they've been short of people, they've had to throw the champion in it. But I could be wrong.
Well, let's talk about the New Japan Cup next time.
Yeah, because we have that starting up in March, right?
Yeah, that'll be starting up, and so we got the build to WrestleMania. We actually have Revolution in a few weeks. God, it's crazy to think that because when I asked
March
you
5th?
what's the big
March
match.
5th? It's Danielson and Mjif, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you just call him Mjif?
I was just sounding it out.
Mjif. Hey, Mr. Mjif. Yeah. So we got Revolution coming up, and it's going to be interesting. I do think that AEW this last week has been particularly critical for them. I mean, there's been a lot of criticism of them, and I do think Tony's feeling that, dude. Problem is what he'll do is he'll be like, I'm feeling the criticism, and he'll just put another Jon Moxley match.
You know what, though? I think we've said it from the get-go. He needs somebody to be like his clear number 2, or somebody that he, like... That's why I thought William Regal would have been great there, is just being his, like, right-hand man, or someone to tell him, hey, Tony, you got to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he has that.
Developed... He's got Christopher Daniels, right? Christopher Daniels is the...
he's the talent relations guy.
Talent relations, and that's a huge one. He's got Tony Schiavone, who is also in talent relations and helps.
I love Tony Schiavone, but I don't think he's a guy that's going to be, like, the clear... Like, he had such a gap in wrestling that...
He's definitely not as knowledgeable
as,
No,
but I think he's a valuable guy to have. Don't get me wrong, and I think he's well deserving of the capacity he has, but he needs somebody that can call him out on stuff, or he needs somebody that he respects to be. He needs that
one
right
of the
hand
issues
man.
is you have a lot of really smart wrestlers or just entertainers or whatever who work with him, but I've heard them say, like, I don't get involved in all that stuff.
See, that's
like,
what I'm saying.
You've got Jim Ross, you've got Chris Jericho, who have said, like, oh, I just do my job.
That's what I'm saying, is he needs to... The person is probably already there. It could be Chris Jericho. That would be the guy I would pick.
Definitely don't want a yes man. Yeah, you want someone that'll take your ideas, throw them against the wall, and see if they stick.
He needs to go to someone and say, hey, Chris, I need you to be my right-hand guy with this stuff and help me book stuff, because I can't...
You should hire Ghetto.
Or maybe even Excalibur would be good at it. He needs somebody that he can...
Awesome.
But
he might have that person, and we don't know.
We could not know. It's not showing in the product. I'll just put it that way.
It's not Mega. You know Mega?
Kenny Omega?
Lawyer?
Who?
No, she's the primary legal for AEW, and she's like the second in command.
Well, yeah, but that's from a business aspect. No, I don't know that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying she could help with booking.
Yeah, he needs somebody to really, like, spend some hours with. He needs to stop booking. He needs to, I don't know how to put this. Maybe we don't know anything. Maybe this is already happening.
He probably needs someone else to book Dark and Dark Elevation.
What we're talking about, but he needs to find less time to book alone, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But maybe time to throw out the notebook from your childhood, get Word or Excel or something like that, and, upgrade it a bit. So we'll see what happens, dude. This week's going to be important for AEW, again, because I think this whole weekend is kind of a wake-up call for them. So we'll see what happens. I am going to get out of here, watch that Kyrie match, and I always watch Hate EW because I think that show's hilarious.
What is that?
It comes out... You don't watch that?
Is that the thing that RJ City hosts or something?
Yeah, the little comedy
I've seen bits and pieces
segment.
of it, yeah.
It's like Space Ghost Coast to Coast, kind of. The awkward interviews.
It kind of reminds me of that Barstool guy with the long hair that interviews people. And there's always that guy eating in the middle. No, he just interviews random people. He's interviewed like Randy Orton before. But I bet you if you saw it...
Has he interviewed MJF?
I don't think so, but that would be great. Okay. But he's interviews like Aaron Rodgers. He interviews a lot of random sports people.
Is it comedy?
Yes, because he'll ask you this really awkward question, and then there's just like some random fat dude with no shirt on just eating something disgusting in the middle of it. And he's had Randy Orton on the show. Like, he'll like literally...
And he's like, who the fuck is this?
He'll hand Randy Orton a note, right, and say, read that. And he's like, I can't read. He's like, oh my God. And he's like, no, that's what it says. Like, like that kind of humor.
Okay.
Or
okay. That sounds pretty similar.
Yeah, and he's just
RJ City's a little bit more flamboyant and feminine.
No, I've seen him. Yeah, and he was
okay.
David Arquette's first angle back into wrestling. He was doing it in the indies around here with RJ City wrestling him.
Really?
Yeah.
I know. Dude, there was a great one he did with Steven Regal or William Regal, and William Regal's like, "Get up and do a roll. Do it right now." And like he got intimidated, and he actually did a wrestling roll. So it's like, oh, he actually is a wrestler.
He's a worker. Yeah, he definitely is.
I was like, okay. He did a stand-up comedy routine back in the day where he would go through putting a wrestling match together, and the joke was that like he would explain the match verbally, and you would see it in your head, and it was like an awesome match. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
So, yeah, RJ. Shout outs to RJ City. So I'm going to get out of here. You're going to get out of here. We are at Wrestling and Pod.
Yes.
You're staying there. Okay, I'll stay here. We are at Wrestling and Pod, at In Ring Art, at John Ensman. Thank you guys for listening, and we have a lot of stuff planned for the future. We are excited to talk to you again soon. And,
I got new stickers too.
Else,
you saw those? I got new stickers.
I saw the new stickers. We'll throw those at the top of our next show, so we can do a little
lapel pins coming soon. Hopefully, by the time we do next show, I'll have the lapel pins. But soon.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. He's got all the good stuff. All the
March
good stuff
31st exclusives.
Dude, it's almost like you should be called Wrestling for Sale or something.
I wonder if that's taken.
I doubt it. That's kind of a dumb name. Anyways, all right, man. We will talk to y'all later. Have a great night. Oh, and we will see you later.